Hello, my name is Brian LeDuc, and I'm going to be making a video review on a new version of Movavi Video Editor Plus. So now the 2020 version came out, so we're going to take a look at it and we're going to see if it's any good. Now, I just want to give you a heads up, this is not a tutorial on how to use it. If you're interested in that, then I have a link in the description when I reviewed the 2017 version of Movavi Video Editor Plus. So this review is going to be based on what has been added, like what new features have been added, and then at the end of the video I'm going to give a verdict whether I think it's worth upgrading or not. This is going to be an honest review, so I'm going to judge everything fairly, and I'll let you know what I think. Now, to give a fair review, I just want to let you know that I'm using a much older version of Movavi. See Movavi Video Editor 5 Plus. This was back in 2017, but I've been keeping up to date with the different features, so for the most part I know what has been added. Okay, so this is what the old version looks like, and now we're going to open the new version. So we're going to compare the two. This is a 2020 now, and I noticed how there is no splash screen. You just go right into the editor. Okay, so the first section is Interface and Relocations. Okay, so right away, I love the way the interface looks. It looks much more simplified, and unlike a lot of modern software, it's usually all light or all dark. I like how there's contrast here. And it looks like everything is very easy to navigate. We have the similar tabs over here, which is all under import. And this is a new feature right here, the media bin. Now, this is pretty common for any program. So click to add files. And let's see, I'm going to go to Prevalent Art Shop. And I'm going to just click and drag some files here. Not this one. And then you just click and drag a file to the timeline. This is very standard for video editing. So over here is like the import tab. So this is the first tab you come into: file import, media bin, sounds, music, sample video, backgrounds, and it's very similar to the old one, except you see it's a little different. The media bin is something new. Before, you had to just click on this icon to bring media to your timeline, or just click and drag from your file manager. And it has a lot of the same tabs here. Whoop. Now previously, the last tab with the previous version, if you click on it, then what you click on next, the previous tab will change to that. But it's a little different with the new version. So you have most of your options here, but then if you click on settings, or this is more. Yeah, not settings, but more. Then you have all of the remaining options right over here. I do like this organization structure better. And then over here, like, see how there are two tabs here, video and then audio? Well, you can also get these options over here. So click on this, you have different options here. Probably, I think it would be better to have these like maybe indented, just so you know. Okay, now let's talk about some of the relocations. Now, the reason I say that is because as I was watching some videos on the new 2020 version, I noticed that there were some comments on YouTube that were confused where the new recording icon is. So if you look here, see how we have most of the same icons as in the previous version, but this one, the record audio, notice how it's not here anymore. Well, if you go in the Import tab, you'll see that there is this option right here, Record Audio. So this is where you record it. Okay, now in the previous version of Movavi, you'll see that we have the gear icon and then these levels icon. So the gear icon is clip properties, whereas this is audio properties. Now you'll see that the new version does not have that gear icon, but this is clip properties. This is what the gear icon was, but it looks more like this over here. So now, regardless of what clip you click on, and let's say you click on this, you click on the clip properties icon, and you'll get you'll get the options that you would get when you clicked on the gear icon previously. So basically the icon just changed, and there's no longer the audio icon on the timeline, but you can still adjust the audio. All right, now I'm going to show you, like let's go to the media bin, and I'm going to drag in an image. Now this confused me for a little bit, so I'm going to click on this. Now see how I have less options. Well, and I remember that I thought I had more options before, but if I make a fair comparison, so I'm going to click and drag an image to the timeline of the older version. And then I'm going to click on the clip properties. Now, see, I have the same options, but the options that would normally be for a video clip are just not highlighted. So, see, I do still have the same options. It's just set up differently. So your options change depending on the type of media you have selected. So now I'm going to go back to the media bin, and I'm going to drag an audio clip. Clip properties. And now I have all the options I need that would be for audio. So if you want to do additional editing to a clip, because let's say you don't want to use any of these options for your video, but you want something more, you would use one of these icons over here, or just click on the More tab, and then these are where you have all of your options for either video or audio. So this is where everything is. But if you just want to do basic editing, like adjust the volume or have it fade out, then you could do it over here. Now in the old version, you'll see that we have two tabs, stickers and callouts. Well, in the new version, we'll see that stickers and callouts are now merged together. So if I go under stickers, I get all the same options that I did for callouts as well. So there's no longer a callouts tab, everything is now under stickers. Now another thing you should know about is that effects can no longer be removed from the timeline. Well, I mean, effects can still be removed, but I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to go to the Filters tab, and I'm going to do, I don't know, Broken Lens. Alright, so now I'm going to click on this star icon, and now I can change all the effects up here. Whereas before, if I go into the previous version and I take a filter and, I don't know, let's say I use mosaic glass. Clicking on the star would get all the options here. And now in the newer version, I have this giant window for all of the effects. If I want to remove one, I'll just click on the X icon. Now when I made the review, I said that the pencil icon was down here, although I updated since I gave that review, and you'll see that the export button is in place of where that pencil icon is. And it's the same. It's the same for all later versions also. And you'll see that notifications is in place of where the pencil was previously. And that pencil icon was for the project settings. So if you want to change the project settings, you would go to Export, and this is just the trial mode. And then you click on this Advanced button. This Advanced button will bring you to your export settings. So this is the same as your project settings. So something I noticed is that when you first start this program, you don't have a splash screen and you don't have the option to adjust your project settings, you can only do that when you're exporting. So that's a little something that needs to be changed. So I'm going to go into titles now. And if I go into the titles section in the older version, I don't know if this has been changed or not, or if this was already the case for previous versions. But if I go into intros, then you will see that I have all these options here. But if I go into this version, you'll see that I no longer have intros. It has been changed to opening. And here I have the same options as the older version. And they did that because this new intro videos, this is new. So all of these here is new. So I'm guessing they didn't want to have intro videos and then have intros as another category because it would be confusing. Okay, now let's talk about what has been added to Movavi Video Editor Plus. So the first and most obvious is that we now have a new interface. And the other thing is the media bin. And another thing is all of the effects that have been marked in yellow. Now, I can't really show you what has been marked in yellow because that only applies when you first open the program. But this is now the second or third time I open the program. But it shows like there would be a yellow dot next to like filters, transitions, and titles. Under the filters, you get and under the retro category is the Tube TV High and Tube TV Low. And we did get new transitions. And if you give me a minute, I think I can remember which ones have been added. Yeah, the parallax. This is what has been added. So, and you can view the transitions by clicking on them. So the different parallax. And then under titles, the intro videos are all new. So these are kind of like templates in a way. So click and drag one. Okay, so I'm going to double click. And then it automatically comes with text and an animated effect of when it appears. And plus, it also comes with a little blue screen background. So click this and change it to whatever. And something that I like about this new intro videos feature, like these templates, is that let's say I don't like this blue background. Well, something that I really like about it is that when you click and drag a intro, see how you get individual blocks, like you get the title, the background. So here I'm gonna remove this background because I don't like. Whoa. Oh, these I think these are linked to. Yeah, these are linked. So I'm gonna unlink this and I'm gonna unlink that. Now I'm gonna click. Now while clicking this one, I'm gonna press delete. Right now. All right, there we go. So now I'm going to go into the Import tab. Oh, I'm already under backgrounds. And you're getting a little sneak peek of how I put other videos of mine together. I'm going to click and drag space in place of that blue background. And now we just modified our template. All right, I think the other version looks better, but I'm just showing you what you can do. A fourth feature is the frame-by-frame preview. So if I go to the previous version, you'll see that I have the same clip, but I only get one preview. Whereas the new version, I have individual frames, so I can scroll and I can see everything that goes on in the video. So I just went over all the features that were advertised in the program. But one thing that was not advertised is if I go into the icons and go into the more icon and then go under pan and zoom, where is that? Right here. You'll see that I have more options than before. Now I don't know if. Now I just want to give you a heads up. I am using the 2017 version. I mean, this is the 2017 And if I go to pan and zoom, pan and zoom. See how I have 3 options here? Notice I have more over here. Now, I don't know if this is in an earlier version of Movavi, so I just want to give you that heads up. So this is everything that I noticed is new to the program. So now let's test it out. So pan, for example, say I want this. So it's going to pan from, so if I look over here, I'm going to like do some panning here. Zoom. I'm going to double click. Maybe like over here. And pan over to him. Alright, Stag.
Just get out of here, Kelly. No one likes you.
And of course, to remove a pan and zoom, it's not the same as effects. So just right click, go to pan and zoom, and say remove all keyframes. Stag.
Just get out of here, Kelly. No one likes you.
I'm sorry, I was laughing. You need to do it again.
That's kind of harsh.
Just get out of here, Kelly. No one likes you.
Hey, knock it off. That's not true.
She's so weird.
I don't, what, like, okay.
It's an accident.
I wanted to push him.
Shut up.
Shut it up.
Okay, now we're going to be talking about bug fixes. Okay, so one bug, I don't understand why this happens, is that if I click on a project, so all these files are within this project, I'm going to click on it, and look, nothing happens. So now I'm going to do that, I'm going to right click, and now I'm going to open in the new version. And beautiful, see, everything loads. This is a major bug correction. So I don't know if in the older version if everything is just loading, but there's no indication that anything is loading. So with the old version of Movavi, there were bugs such as quick control to adjusting the volume. So I'm going to just do something different. I'm going to just click and drag all these to the timeline. And I'm going to deselect this, deselect the affinity files. Oh, not that one. I hear my computer heating up, so I wonder if it is loading. So I'll just click and drag all these to the timeline. Okay, so something that I'm going to do is, like, see, there's this audio clip and then there's another audio clip. In this audio clip, you can, well, for all of them, you can change the volume. So I'm going to change the volume to all these clips all at once. Now, sometimes if I do a very fast number like 400, enter. Then when I play,
To draw everything in closed tabs, and this can easily be accomplished.
you see how it's very quiet? So I click here and see it actually says 4. That's not what I said. I said 400. But if I do it a lot slower, 0, 0, and then play,
Accomplished with simple.
Yep, now it works. So I'm going to select all these, and now I'm going to try it again. 4, 0, 0. Now enter. So I'm going to go over here, select here. Yep, it says 400 now. So now I'm going to go in the new version, see if I still face this issue. So I'm going to take all of these audio clips, and I'm going to do everything at once. So click here, and I'm going to select here, go 400, enter.
Each of these parts into different nested layers.
Yep. 400, 400, 400. Yes, okay, so this bug has been corrected as well. Another bug in an older version is transitions when I'm doing pan and zoom. Okay, so I have some fan art here. So I'm going to just open a folder and I'm going to make a little, just a small transition between two images. So I'm going to do one of M. Bison and another one of Sonic. So I'm going to bring these to the timeline. And usually when watching a slideshow, there's a little pan effect. So I'm going to, first, let me get out of here. All right, so I'm going to just go to here, go to pan and zoom. Oh, and this is for the old version. So select the clip. Let's just do a pan, add. So I'll start here. So double click this here, and then double click this here. Now just play. And then that is the next. That is the next slide. So I'm gonna go to. Oh wait, what am I? I'm go to transitions, and then a transition that I like is just. Oh wait. Okay, now this is the next slide. Now, normally you don't want a pan like an image like this, but I'm gonna just do a very. I'm gonna do a pan out. So again, go to the clip properties, do pan again, but select this one. Now I'm going to do zoom out and now add. So here, double click, maybe like zoom into Sonic's head. Now zoom out, bring it up a little. Maybe the top blade gets cut off just a little. All right. Okay, now this is where the bug occurs. If I go to transitions, and a fade that I like is just the regular crossfade. So I'm going to do this. Now, now watch the bug. See, there was a pause. There's a pause in between transitions. That's not what I want. I wanted to just keep going. So now let's see how the new program works with that. All right, I'm gonna zoom out, select all, delete. Okay, it doesn't look like this bug did get fixed. Well, yes. Now it makes sense because you see how this is. Look, if you look at just yeah, I'm gonna remove this transition for a second. This is the first image of the Sonic character. So if the transition starts over here, then of course we're going to see a Sonic first because there's nothing before that image. Yeah, there is a program in the Mac App Store called Photo to Video and a Rocket. I'm trying to like replicate something similar to that, but it doesn't look like I can do that in Movavi, unfortunately. So that's one bug that still needs to be addressed. All right, the next section is performance. Okay, so here is a very complex animation that I made. So I made different images. So I'm gonna select all of these, and then deselect these here. Deselect, deselect, deselect. So I'm gonna test out like how fast everything works. Okay, so for people who are subscribed to me, you probably already recognize this video. So I'm going to click on Clip Properties and I'm going to change the duration. So I try to do 150, like 1, but 150. But see what's going on? Whereas I try to do the same here, I can easily go 150. But it looks like where I put the decimals here, it's different. Okay, so it looks like you can't change this last digit when you just select, when you type in all of these in the previous version. I'm going to export what I did over here, so I get the preview that I want. I want this to be 0 and this to be 150, so I'm going to export those. Export it like this. I'll show you what it is that I wanted to do. So I'm going to bring this into the older version of Movavi. When I play this. So this is something that I wanted, and he struggles like, oh, I need to get out of these vines. And then here is where everything gets kind of, where the foreground gets a little blurry. So stop like, whoop, right here. And then pan and zoom. Zoom in, add. He's going to zoom into these people over here, which are carefully hidden. But that was too fast. And then the next frame are the people watching. Let's see the play preview, which I exported in the older version of Movavi. Okay, it works. Good. Pause. That's one thing that I don't like in either version of Movavi. When I play and then pause, look, it won't pause. Pause. Okay, now it's pausing. Okay, pan and zoom already in there. Zoom in. Right there. Bring this out a little. Okay, that worked out nice. I mean, it's a little fast. I mean, if you watch the animation I made before, it all came out of the way I liked it, the way I liked. All right, now we're gonna do some more animation. So in my previous review on Movavi, I had a section showing an animation of Fairy Blue, and I want to do that again. So here I have a transparent background of Fairy Blue flying, and I want to have this little background, and I want to have this scene in the background. Now, something that would be a little helpful is to have GIFs or videos with transparencies. So I could drag this to the video editor and then drag this on top. But you'll see that if I scroll over, we can't see through this white area. So in this case, we will need to use chroma key. So let's see. I'm gonna unlink this. So when I delete this, I don't accidentally delete the background also. Now I can unlink that. Okay, so now I'm gonna go find the Fairy Blue file that I made in Affinity Designer, and then I'm gonna add a colored background to each slide. And actually, I already have it open. So this is where I made it. So I'm gonna just delete all of these here. And now I'm gonna go into each slide and just remove the background. And I'm gonna add a color. And this is just coming out very slow because I have a lot of effects here. Send this behind. And I don't know what I want to use for color. Guess I'm going to use a brown because I want to use something that is not already on her, because then if I try to knock everything out, if I try to knock a color out, it will probably like knock out things that are already on, colors that are already on her. Now, okay, now I have all the frames I want. Fairy blue with a brownish looking background. Now I'm gonna bring these into Movavi Video Editor, the earlier version, and the reason for that is because I like the duration options better in the older version than the newer version. So I'm gonna change the duration, and then I'm gonna export these as a GIF. So I'm gonna do 1500. Okay, now if you look, this is frame 1, and frame 2 isn't changing. Frame 1, frame 2, okay, frame 3. And now see on frame 4, is when she starts blinking. So the second 3 frames are the same as the first 3. So when I export this, and it's going to be looping, so I don't want her to keep blinking and keep blinking. So I'm going to copy these first 3, so do Command C for Mac or Control C for Windows. I'm going to paste a few times. Paste, paste, and paste. Okay. Now I'm going to export. And I'm going to say Fairy Blue. Oh wait, cancel. There's something I forgot. Look, I have MP4 selected for an export file. I'm going to go to GIF. Now the reason I'm doing GIF is because I want this animation to loop. It will not loop if I have it as an MP4, because then that's a video file and not a GIF file. Okay, now I can export. Minimize this window. And this is the new GIF file we just created. So now I'm going to bring this into the new Movavi and see how this works. Well, that's strange. Because it's a GIF file, I thought it would just repeat on its own. I thought it would loop on its own. Well, my mistake. Okay, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select chroma key. And now I'm going to remove this brown. Okay, and you can see how it removed way too much. So I'm going to lower the tolerance. More. The brown was close to her skin color. Ah, boy. Alright, I'm going to go back and edit and have the color maybe be purple then. Okay, now let's test this out. This time I have a video file and not a GIF. So I'm going to bring this down here. And I could even resize this. Okay, now with this selected, Okay. So select this and remove the purple. Let's see how this works. It looks good for the most part. It looks a little glitchy, but this is kind of what I was aiming for. So I'm going to just crop this, and because I don't want to have those black bars, and I also don't want those stars up above to the flash like that. Apply. Okay, well I think this is the best we can do. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add an animation of this. I want her to be flying around. But first I'm going to add this in picture-in-picture. So I'm going to click and drag this. Oh no, I don't have to click and drag. She's already here. So now with her selected, I am going to go over here, go to animation, and now we have a lot of animation presets here. This was in earlier versions of Movavi also, not in the version I have, but so I'm going to add this animation right here, but I also want to show you that you also have, you can also add it manually. So let me just show you how you can do this first. So I'm going to say add animation, and let's see, I want the starting point to be like off the screen. Just give this a minute for it to load. All right. And then the ending point, right where it is, I guess. Now we can play it. Oh, her wing is kind of showing. All right. Pause. I said pause. All right, so I'm going to go to animation. Oh, I right-clicked. Animation. Remove all keyframes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this for an animation. I'm going to click and drag it right here. I'm just moving these nodes, kind of having them be evened out. All right, let's see how this works. But yeah, I guess this is kind of how it works. It'd be interesting if we had like a pencil tool and we could just draw the path and choose the speed. Because something that I want to do is I want to have a picture of Fairy Blue and have something similar to a Tom and Jerry. Like Fairy Blue is just flying around and then Bluey the fish is just watching like, oh boy, oh boy. But yeah, this is a showing that this can be done in video editing software. I mean, no, this isn't what the software is for, because it's not for animation, it's for video editing. So let's get more into the video editing part now.
Thank you, this is much appreciated.
I smell bacon.
Are you a cop?
I don't think we can trust them, boss.
What else can go wrong today?
Okay, right here there is a lot of shaking.
What do you want me to do to prove that I'm not a cop?
I want you to prove that you're useful.
I'm gonna cut it right here. Split. Alright, right here. So we're gonna try to stabilize this. Alright, accuracy is up 15, is up by 15. Shaking.
Trust you.
Okay, so so these options here, appears that they do work. It's the original and preview that do not work. I mean, they work here, but it looks like in order for them to work, you have to apply changes and then come back into the stabilization window. All right, that's a little. Okay, so let's see what adaptive does. Stabilize. Apply. All right, now edit again. Original. Preview.
What do you want me to do to prove that I'm not a cop?
So this stabilization feature, it does need work. Okay, so these videos are when I was explaining what prevalent arts was, and these two clips, I caught something strange in those two. It looked like there's these light orbs flying around. So I'm gonna take these and we're gonna use the highlight and conceal feature. So I'm gonna just scroll over. Cases, someone fun or it's probably hard to see, so I'm gonna split right here. Someone fun or okay. So I'm gonna select this option, go to here. I'm gonna go to highlight and conceal. Actually, I'm gonna split this into two. Actually, someone fun or in other cases, a character who makes you want modern today. There might not be anything that. And I don't know if it's a bug, but something that would occur in the old version of Movavi. So let me bring in a clip and so say I'm gonna decrease the speed here. All right, now I'm gonna undo. You see, like each undo is different volume levels. And I can't remember if the same happens with volume. Let's find out. Alright, so bring it up to, I don't know, 284. I'm gonna undo. Yeah, it does. This is good. Dark. Alright, so let's see how, okay, so bring the speed down. Alright, undo. Yeah, it looks like that's still, looks like it's still the same thing. And each undo is a separate volume level, because when I click and drag, it's I have my finger on the mouse, like it's a one click, and then I let go, but each undos is within that click. And I can't play this video for copyrights. You know, obviously I didn't create Chuck E. Cheese or the music that's in this clip. It was on YouTube, but I took it off. Okay, now let's talk about the pros and cons. So for a pro, it's similar to what I showed you earlier. You can change the volume of multiple clips at once, and then you get the volume right there. So one of the pros is a major bug that was fixed. That is when changing the volume of multiple clips at once, you get all the clips as that volume, whereas before, or the program wouldn't be able to calculate such fast actions. Another Another pro is that we have a very clean interface. Yes, I love this setup. I think it's a lot more attractive than earlier, than in previous version. Whereas before, if I wanted to get more options, everything would be here in an accordion setup. But I like having everything in like a side panel and all of the options in a grid view. I think this is a better look. Another major pro is when opening a relocated project, you only have to specify the location of files once, as long as they are all in one place. In some other video editors, you need to specify the location for each file individually. Okay, now let's talk about the cons. There really isn't anything too new other than additional effects and organizational/visual features. Most of the presets and controls are the same. So the old version, see, this is the import tab. Like these are the sounds. We have all the same sounds. And a lot of the tools that I showed you, like the stabilization feature and um, like the volume levels, like those weren't addressed yet. So we have a lot of the same content, aside from what was marked in yellow earlier. Another con is that it needs more customization, such as changing the properties of an effect. Transitions can be customized. For example, there are not enough title presets compared to other editors like Filmora. So if we take a look at the titles, you see that everything is, we go to all, everything is pretty limited. I would like effects such as gradients, glows, shadows, and blurs. And there are limited sizes for border thickness, and the alignment goes inward on the text. So let's say I want to add a border here. Say I want the border to be yellow. Then I want to change the thickness. See, we have limited sizes, and if I choose a thick color, the yellow goes inward on the text, whereas I want a nice thick title. This avoids the advantage of making giant cinematic titles. While you really can't choose how you want a title to enter and exit, you do have the option to add animation presets to them, so that is a plus at least. Now, because all these texts here, because they already have an animated process, I'm going to just choose basic text, and I want to animate it manually. Not that. Go to basic, simple text. That's what it's called. Okay, now, oh no, wrong one. So under animations, I wanted to animate coming down. So this is how you would do this. You would go in the animation tab. So this is how I want it to come in. Wait. Right. So that's where it's going to start. This is where it's going to end. I'm going to add another downward. So the animation tab is where you would animate your text. And a third con is some tools don't even work. The stabilization tool, for example, does not actually stabilize the video. Okay, now the last section, the verdict. For people who are new to Movavi, this is a pretty good program for anyone who wants to make professional-looking videos. It involves more advanced video editing in a simplified way, and it does not involve a steep learning curve. As for old-time users, it is not worth the upgrade. The price is too high for its minimal features that has been added to the latest version. Compared to previous versions, it is way too simplified. To give an honest review, Movavi Video Editor Plus 2020 is still in early production, and it has yet to bring something new to step it up from previous versions. I am using a version released back in 2017, and there is barely anything new in the 2020 version. The new approach with the interface and organization is a great start, but the price is unreasonably high for practically just a new environment and some bonus add-ons. So something that might give this program a major update is having more control over the content's properties. For effects such as camera shake, maybe have more control over speed or tilt. But these are just examples. The point is that the program is lacking a proper upgrade. I might give Filmora another try. Unlike what I said in my previous review on Movavi in which I was comparing it, Filmora now has pan and zoom, and it features additional media tracks. I have read by YouTubers that it still freezes, but I would have to test out the program to judge for myself, seeing how each user experience is different. I'm interested to see what was added during my absence. If Cyberlink ParaDirector was for Mac, I would use that one. That was my favorite back when I was a Windows user. So with all that said, I hope this video helped you to make a decision. Please let me know in the comments what you think.